A one-ton vehicle just went from 0 to 435 miles per hour in under 2 seconds. That's faster acceleration than a Formula One car, and it's not flying through the air. It's floating in a tube with no wheels, no friction, and almost no air. While the rest of the world argues about whether Elon Musk's Hyperloop is science fiction or engineering fantasy, China just proved it works. They've built a full-scale test track. They've hit 387 miles per hour in a near-vacuum tube. And they're targeting speeds that would make commercial jets look slow. The goal? Travel from Shanghai to Hangzhou, 120 miles, in about 20 minutes. Beijing to Shanghai? Under 2 hours. But here's what makes this insane. They're not just theorizing. They're testing actual hardware right now. To understand why this is engineering insanity, you need to understand the problem they're solving. When a conventional train hits 200 miles per hour, roughly 80% of its energy goes into fighting air resistance. Push that to 400 miles per hour? Air drag increases exponentially. It's like trying to swim through honey. Even China's existing maglev, currently the world's fastest commercial train at 286 miles per hour, can't break past 350 without massive energy penalties. The air itself becomes the enemy. So Chinese engineers asked a radical question. What if we just removed the air? Not completely. Full vacuum is too expensive and dangerous. But reduce air pressure by 90%, and suddenly you can slice through what's left like it barely exists. That's the core of the T-flight system, China's answer to the Hyperloop. But here's where it gets weird. The company building this isn't a transportation firm. It's the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation, CASIC. These are the people who build missiles and rockets. They're applying literal rocket science to ground transportation. And that changes everything. Let's start with how they're getting this thing to float. Forget wheels, forget friction. The T-flight uses superconducting magnetic levitation, maglev on steroids. Superconducting magnets operate at temperatures near absolute zero. At that point, electrical resistance vanishes. Current flows forever. And that creates electromagnetic fields powerful enough to lift a train completely off the track with zero physical contact. In December 2025, China's National University of Defense Technology ran a test that broke physics records. They accelerated a 1-ton prototype from standstill to 435 miles per hour in 1.8 seconds. On a track just 400 meters long. To put that in perspective, passengers experienced nearly 2 Gs of acceleration, comparable to a fighter jet takeoff. But here's the insane part. They controlled every millimeter of that movement using electromagnetic fields alone. The train doesn't touch anything. Magnets on the vehicle repel magnets on the track, creating a cushion of electromagnetic force. Adjust the field strength and you control altitude. Pulse the fields in sequence and you create propulsion. No wheels means no friction. No friction means no wear. No wear means speeds that would destroy conventional rail in minutes. But magnetic levitation alone isn't enough. Scientists couldn't explain what happened next when they tried to scale conventional maglev beyond 400 miles per hour. Even with perfect magnets, air resistance becomes an insurmountable wall. At 600 miles per hour, the energy needed to push through normal air pressure increases 800% compared to 200 miles per hour. So CASIC built something unprecedented. A sealed tube 2 kilometers long where they can reduce air pressure to 1/10 of normal atmospheric levels. Think about the engineering challenge. You're creating an airtight seal over 2 kilometers of track. Any leak, any crack, and air rushes back in. At high speeds, even a small pressure difference could generate turbulence strong enough to destabilize the vehicle. And this is where Chinese engineers made a breakthrough nobody expected. Traditional Hyperloop designs proposed expensive all-steel tubes. Cost estimates ballooned into the hundreds of billions. Chinese researchers developed a steel-concrete composite structure. N-shaped beams with vacuum-sealed concrete, epoxy-coated reinforcing bars, and glass fiber reinforcements. This cuts construction costs by roughly 40% while maintaining structural integrity under vacuum conditions. But they discovered something fascinating. The composite material doesn't just save money, it actually reduces magnetic drag. Energy losses dropped by over a third compared to pure metal tubes. In 2024, they achieved stable operation at 387 miles per hour inside the low vacuum environment. Not a brief sprint, sustained, controlled travel with precision guidance. Then they discovered something shocking. When you remove most of the air, you create a new problem nobody anticipated. At 600 miles per hour in low vacuum conditions, the vehicle itself creates its own weather system. Tiny air pockets compress and expand. Shockwaves bounce off tube walls. What little air remains becomes violently unpredictable. Chinese researchers published studies showing extremely severe bumps in the vacuum environment. Turbulence so intense it could make the ride feel like being inside a washing machine at highway speeds. The solution? Artificial intelligence controlling magnetic dampers in real time. Sensors detect turbulence thousands of times per second. AI algorithms adjust electromagnetic fields to counteract every bump, every vibration. Supercomputers run continuous simulations, predicting air behavior milliseconds before it happens. The system learns, adapts, and optimizes. The result? They reduced turbulence intensity by nearly 50%. What would have been an unbearable ride became smooth enough for commercial passengers. But here's where it gets even more insane. The propulsion system isn't mechanical, it's electromagnetic. Linear motors work like unrolled electric motors. Electromagnets along the track activate in sequence, pulling the train forward. No gears, no engines. Just controlled magnetic fields accelerating a multi-ton vehicle to jet speeds. And because there's almost no friction or air resistance, energy efficiency becomes ridiculous. Early calculations suggest the T-Flight could use 30% less energy per passenger than high-speed rail, while traveling twice as fast. Remember, this isn't being built by a railroad company, it's being built by China's aerospace giant. CASIC brings decades of experience making things accelerate to extreme speeds. Electromagnetic launch systems, guidance computers that work at Mach 5, materials that withstand incredible thermal stress. That December 2025 test, 0 to 435 miles per hour in under 2 seconds, that's rocket-like acceleration applied to ground transport. The G-forces, the precision control, the split-second timing, it's aerospace engineering married to civil infrastructure. And they're solving problems that killed other Hyperloop attempts. At 600 miles per hour, even with low air resistance, friction between air molecules in the pod generates significant heat. Aerospace thermal management systems keep electronics cool and structures stable. Safety systems come straight from rocket design philosophy. Multiple redundant magnetic braking systems. Emergency air injection to slow the vehicle if power fails. Escape protocols borrowed from spacecraft engineering. But here's the wild card. CASIC is exploring dual-use applications. The same electromagnetic launch technology that propels the Hyperloop could assist rocket launches. Imagine a ground-based electromagnetic catapult giving spacecraft an initial boost, reducing fuel requirements by 20%. This isn't just about trains, it's about building infrastructure that bridges aerospace and terrestrial transport. So where does this stand today? As of early 2026, China has demonstrated every critical technology at scale. Stable magnetic levitation in low vacuum conditions? Proven. Acceleration to 387 miles per hour with controlled guidance? Achieved. Structural integrity of composite tubes under vacuum? Verified. AI-controlled stability systems? Operational. The next phase is already funded. A 60-kilometer test track designed for full 1,000 km/h trials. That's 621 miles per hour, faster than most commercial jets cruise. Target deployment? Shanghai to Hangzhou line by around 2035. That's a 120-mile journey reduced from 3 hours by car to roughly 20 minutes by Hyperloop. Broader plans include Beijing to Shanghai, 660 miles, in under 2 hours. For comparison, that trip currently takes 5 hours by bullet train or 2 hours by plane, plus airport time. But here's the reality check. Building this at commercial scale means constructing hundreds of miles of vacuum tubes, stations with airlock systems, and maintaining near-vacuum conditions continuously. Early estimates suggest construction costs around $50 to $60 million per mile. Expensive, but comparable to high-speed rail, once you factor in higher speeds and lower operating costs. Safety remains the biggest question mark. What happens if a tube depressurizes at 600 miles per hour? Chinese engineers are testing fail-safe systems, but real-world passenger operation adds complexity no test track can fully simulate. Meanwhile, Western Hyperloop ventures have largely stalled. Virgin Hyperloop shut down passenger operations. Elon Musk's Boring company shifted focus. Several European projects remain stuck in feasibility studies. If China pulls this off, it fundamentally changes the equation for intercity transportation. Consider the implications. A Hyperloop system powered by renewable energy could move people at jet speeds with a fraction of aviation's carbon footprint. No jet fuel, no emissions at 30,000 feet. It could reshape urban development. Cities 300 miles apart become effective suburbs of each other. You could live in one city and commute to another faster than most subway rides. Economic impacts could be massive. Faster movement of people means more integrated regional economies. Labor markets that currently require relocation become accessible via daily commute, and China's building this with entirely domestic supply chains. Superconducting magnets? Made in China? Composite materials? Chinese manufacturers, control systems? Chinese AI firms? That means they're not just building infrastructure, they're creating exportable technology. Countries across Asia, the Middle East, and potentially beyond could become customers for Chinese Hyperloop systems. Some analysts see this as part of broader infrastructure diplomacy. Build the first successful system, prove the economics work, then export the technology and construction expertise. But skeptics remain. Maintaining vacuum over hundreds of miles in earthquakes-prone regions? Passenger comfort during rapid acceleration? Evacuation procedures if something fails mid-journey? These are engineering challenges with no proven solutions at commercial scale. Yet here's what we know for certain. They built a full-scale test track. They achieved sustained, low-vacuum operation. They accelerated a vehicle to jet speeds using electromagnetic systems. They solved the turbulence problem everyone said was unsolvable. While other countries debated feasibility, China committed billions in state funding, mobilized aerospace engineers, and moved from concept to hardware in under 5 years. The renders and the reality are converging. This is no longer science fiction, it's engineering in progress. Whether it revolutionizes transportation or becomes an expensive proof of concept depends on the next decade of development. But one thing is undeniable. China has turned the Hyperloop from a billionaire's PowerPoint presentation into levitating metal floating through vacuum tubes at impossible speeds. The question isn't whether Hyperloop technology can work anymore. China answered that. The question is whether it can scale. Whether the engineering insanity that works over 2 kilometers can work over 200, over 2,000. We're about to find out if the future of transportation arrives in a vacuum-sealed tube, or if it disappears into one. If you want to see what happens when aerospace engineering collides with civil infrastructure, hit subscribe. Because this race is just beginning.